Good morning. It's Monday, January 30th. There's a story going around New England today about a so-called cartel that some fishermen claim is exercising too much power over the catch shares and the system that's developed in New England. This supposedly involves Vito Glaccione in Gloucester, who's also head of the Northeast Seafood Coalition, Richie Canastra, owner of the primary New England auctions, now established in New Bedford, Boston, and Gloucester, and boat owner Carlos Raphael, who is one of the largest quota holders in New England and a very aggressive proponent of his unlimited right to expand his quotas. What happened was that last year Vito exercised his right of first refusal as a member of Sector 2 of the Northeast Seafood Coalition to prevent the transfer of 2 vessels and permits to a New Bedford fishing company owned by Pat Cavanaugh, which had purchased the vessels and permits from Sector 8. Under the rules approved by National Marine Fishery Service for the Northeast Seafood Coalition, all transfers outside of the coalition, which represents by far the majority of vessels engaged in the groundfish fishery, have to be approved, have to go through all the sector members before they can be transferred outside. In this case, Vito stepped in, he says, on his own personal account and bought these permits. The issue arose when he then turned around and sold the boats to Carlos Raphael just a couple of weeks later, and presumably he's held on to the permits and is now presumably leasing those permits so they can be actively fished. What this has done is it's given the opponents of catch shares a new target to go after. We address this in our editorial today. I don't think the problem is consolidation, and it's not up to me to say at this point whether Vito made a good or bad political and business decision with this investment. But it is fair to ask the question, what's going to maximize the value of the New England fishery resource? New England is unique in the sense that its groundfish fisheries exist on the doorstep of one of the largest fresh fish markets in the world. Unlike Alaska, where fish has to be transported thousands of miles to market, the New England landings in New Bedford and Gloucester are just a couple of hours away from the major buyers and people who are going to use that fresh fish. Presumably, this comparative advantage could be translated into some price or value advantage, and particularly it can flow to those who now own the catch shares in New England. The idea of one of the benefits of the catch share program is this allows people who do own the quota to maximize the value and sell it for its highest and best use. In principle, this should enrich the entire fishery. The fair question I think that can be asked in New England is, does the present system allow the type of innovation and ability to increase the value that should flow from catch shares? The fact is, most of the fish in New England is very much sold through an auction system. In many cases, the fishermen support the auction systems because, in their view, they give the most transparent and the best price for their fish. If there are links between the auction systems and the coalitions and the permit banks that essentially write the rules for how you can use catch shares for the individual owners, then there may be an issue that might have to be addressed, which is there some pressure to sell fish in a particular way if you use shares from a permit bank or if you're a member of the Seafood Coalition? This is a legitimate question for investigation, and we don't know the answer. But I don't think it makes sense to go into a hue and cry about our cartel when in fact it's the opponents of catch shares who are making that cry, and no evidence has ever been given to say that the system that we have today is not maximizing the value for fishermen. In Lexington, Mass., this is John Sackton.